welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be discussing 5 powerful items that I believe every Paladin should have going into the Burning Crusade. This is in no particular order, but every item on this list is incredibly powerful in its own right and usage. First, for anybody that is going to be a Protection Paladin going into TBC, I highly recommend that you go into BWL, Blackwing Lair, and pick up Styling's Impeding Scarab. This has a 5% increased chance to block, 24 block value to your shield, and increases defense by 13. When it comes to mitigation for Paladins, this is an amazing trinket that gets used even at level 70. Blocking is incredibly important for Paladins in TBC. It gives us mana, it gives us threat, and actually even gives a bit of damage. So this is a must-have item for every Paladin. TBC was for sure coming out. And 2, the drop rate of this item is actually not that high. It is, I think, kind of similar to DFT or Rejuve Gem, so you don't see it very often. So many Paladins are scrambling to get this before TBC comes out. I cannot recommend this trinket enough. The second item that I highly recommend every Paladin get is going to be the trinket from killing Kel'Thuzad. So there are 2 different options that you can get for this trinket. If you 100% want to main a Ret Paladin in TBC, then you should get the 150 attack power to undead and demons. But if you want to do carries, or tank, or AoE farm anything that has demons, I highly recommend getting the spell power variation. This is an incredible tool when it comes to tanking dungeons that have demons, because it's going to increase your consecration, it's going to increase your holy shield. It is just an all-around amazing threat and damage generator. On top of that, this trinket is 100% necessary if you want to do carries in Undead Stratholme or in Razor Fen Downs or Zul'Farrak Graveyard. As long as the other 2 items on this list continue to operate the way they do in Classic, this will be an invaluable tool with its 85 spell power to Undead. Now, I recently did pick this up from a GDKP for about 5,000 gold, and I've already tested it in Razor Fen Downs. I was able to finish Razor Fen Downs in less than 15 minutes, and that was my first time testing trying to pull everything. With a little bit of refinement, and with the addition of one of the items on this list, I can easily one-pull Razor Fen Downs even at level 60. Speaking of carries, that is going to carry us into the next 2 items on this list. One of which is the Skull Flame Shield. Anybody who is a Paladin knows how amazing this shield is. Again, as long as Blizzard does not nerf this item and it continues to work as it did in Classic and as it did back in Vanilla TBC, then the Drain Life ability on the shield will still scale at a 1-to-1 ratio with your spell power. This is why the 85 spell power from the Kel'Thuzad Phylactery trinket is so good for this shield. Even if you hit level 70, you can still use this shield for Razor Fen Downs, Zul'Farrak Graveyard, as well as Undead Stratholme. You will be getting massive Drain Life procs from your enemies. Now, at level 70, you do get quite a lot of avoidance as a Paladin, but you also get a large amount of block percent. When you block, it counts as being struck in combat. So even if you stack a large amount of block, as a Paladin, you are still going to benefit from this on-hit or getting hit effect. The Flame Strike AoE is also incredibly valuable when you're pulling large amounts of enemies. The Flame Strike damage adds up quickly. So, with the amount of spell power that we're going to be getting in TBC, this can easily proc for a huge amount. As is, when I want to go all out, let me go ahead and put on my Nelth's tier, and I believe that should do it. I have almost 600 spell power to undead. That means there's a 3% chance to heal myself for over 600 health when an undead mob hits me. Oh, actually, I thought there was one more item I could have changed out to get it a bit higher, but that's okay. So this is a massive drain life ability, and I cannot recommend it enough, especially if you want to attempt doing Undead Strathhome later on. Next is another item that is going to be fundamental for doing carries, not just in stockades, but also in the mid or higher level dungeons, and that is going to be the Demon Forge Breastplate. Again, this is an amazing item because the Drain Life ability scales with your spell power. Now, unfortunately, the scaling on the Demon Forge Breastplate is at 40%. So, with my 600 spell power, this adds an additional 200 to its Drain Life to Undead. So, when this procs, it'll drain 320 life. It is more than that. I apologize. That would be 1/3. So 40% of it would be around 233. So this is about 350 life drained over 4 seconds. So essentially, if you add these together, there is a 3% chance of draining over 900 life from an undead mob. That is a huge amount of sustain as well as damage. So this, as any paladin who is doing carries knows, is already an incredibly powerful item. Now, these two items you are not going to use for doing dungeons while you're leveling. These are specifically for selling carries. So, the final item on this list I am currently in the process of getting. It requires 20 Cenarian Logistics badges, 20 Cenarian Tactical badges, and 15 Cenarian Combat badges, as well as 1 Mark of Cenarius. Now, there are guides on how to get the Wrath of Cenarius ring on the internet. If you Google them, you can find them there. But suffice to say, it is an incredibly time-consuming and tedious task that does require the help of others to complete. But if you go through this task, you are rewarded with a ring that gives you 132 spell power for 10 seconds. Now, the proc chance on this ring is 5%. So, if you are doing mass pulls or 1 pulls of dungeons for carries, as long as you have 20 or mobs around you, when you cast Consecrate initially, you should be able to have a 100% uptime of that 132 spell power. Now, you do need to keep in mind that only the initial cast and the tick of Consecrate can activate the ring. None of the additional ticks done by Consecrate will activate this ring. So, there you have it. Those are 5 items that I believe every paladin needs to get before going into the Burning Crusade. And I figured, what better place to talk about the future of the game and the Burning Crusade than outside of the Dark Portal itself. I hope you found the information and the items useful. If you would like to ask me any questions about Paladin or carries or items going into TBC or in Classic at the moment, you can catch my Twitch stream every day at twitch.tv/the Duke of TBC. I go live at 9 p.m. California time, which is my server, so PST. And I think that just about does it, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Later!